I'm Robert Rodriguez, and you're watching Up Late Austin.
Coming up tonight on Up Late Austin, Arielle Nicole, an Americana singer-songwriter who's been writing since an early age. Having survived a life-changing car accident, she's now come to see things in a different light. Please join us for engaging music and story. Coming up next on Up Late Austin.
Welcome. You're Up Late Austin. I'm your host, Jake. We have a great show for you tonight. I love the lighting. It's awesome. They did a good job. Tonight we have Arielle Nicole. She's going to be singing some awesome songs. You're going to love her music, but she also has some really cool life stories. So we're going to get into that as well. But first of all, let's just get into where did you grow up, and where were you born?
I'm originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I grew up all over the place, traveled around quite a bit, moving around with my mom, and ended up in Austin, and I wouldn't change any of that for anything. I got to travel a lot, but ended up at home. So, yeah.
Well, I always say I'm from Kansas, but I got here as soon as I could.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I say. Though I love calling New Mexico my other home. Gives me a little bit of a more interesting story that way. Yeah.
Right. So the music that you grew up with, did you grow up listening to this kind of music, or was this something you found later? I'm trying to figure out, what were your parents listening to as a child that you grew up listening to, and then is that the same, reflection of your music today?
It's funny. I don't know that it's a reflection of my music necessarily, but it's a reflection of my musical abilities. Anything with guitar, lots and lots of guitar. My dad was a guitar player and guitar teacher, and when I was a kid, I had no idea that the lead singer was not the guitar player all the time. So I thought it was the strangest thing when I'd hear these bands and the lead singer wasn't playing guitar. I was like, what? These people aren't real. They can't really be playing music on stage. So anything with lots of guitar is what I grew up on, and just kind of inherited that. And so I fell in love with guitar early on, and then I decided I liked writing and singing and playing a variety of things.
Now, I know you play a few different instruments. What was your first instrument and what age? And how many instruments did you play over the years?
I don't know if I could count how many I've played, but at an early age, pretty much as early as I could talk, I started playing guitar. I liked guitar, but since it was like the family thing, I wanted to be a rebel. So I first decided I wanted to play drums as a kid, older elementary school, and I pursued that quite a bit, but it just wasn't quite home for me. It didn't feel like home musically, so I ended up writing and playing and singing guitar, and I wanted to be the one who was different, who did play and sing, when I saw all these singers who didn't play guitar and thought that was so weird.
So you play guitar, but what other instruments do you play?
I play guitar, I play piano, drums, I sing. I play mandolin quite a bit. Just whatever I need at the moment, I kind of figure out.
And speaking of singing, did you take like high school with any vocals, or is it just natural that as well?
That was not so natural, but I loved it very much. So I worked on it quite a bit. Yeah. And I worked on that in college some too.
Okay, perfect. Let's also talk about, I know I want to make sure to get all this in, but maybe we'll touch on the, what was first? Was it the accident or what?
The car accident I was in. So yeah, so I was playing at this festival in East Texas one day, and decided to come home that night when I probably should have stayed there after a long day of playing music, and got in an accident, hit some wild hogs, was airlifted to a hospital where I woke up and I'd broken a bone in my neck and I had a severely damaged hand. So it was definitely a life-changing thing.
What year was this, by the way?
This was 2011.
Okay.
So it's been 6 years now. 6 years as of just a couple weeks ago, actually. And it was a long recovery, but I wouldn't trade any of it for anything with the stories that I have now and the eye-opening experience.
Now, when you hit the hog, do you see it, or did they just tell you that's what happened?
So my mom was actually driving, and after a long day, she decided last minute to come with me to that festival. But after a long day there, I fell asleep in the passenger seat, and I woke up and we were flipping. And I remember thinking to myself, "Is this real? Could this possibly be happening, or is this? I mean, these things you hear about, but they don't really happen." But yeah, so we flipped the length of a football field, and the next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital.
Wow.
Fortunately, she was all right. She had broken hands and wrists from holding the steering wheel so tightly. But it was quite a recovery. Spent the summer in a hospital bed. And
I'm sure your first thought when you wake up is, my hand, like guitar hand.
Right, exactly. And they told me in the hospital that they might have to amputate my hand, and it was the scariest thing I could have imagined. I mean, I can't do anything else in life, you know?
Right.
So I was really fortunate that I did quite a bit of therapy healing, but now it's pretty much back to normal.
Wow. And so everything, your mom, she's good, no
Oh yeah, she was
recovery stuff? Okay.
Just recovering from the experience.
Yeah.
That's
Probably, that's got to be very scary.
Yeah.
So, after that, what kind of, how long did it take to get your hand back to normal playing?
Well, the community, incredible musical community here in Austin, put together a benefit concert after that accident, and I was determined to play a song.
Yeah.
So that was about 6 weeks later, and I couldn't quite hold a guitar pick. I actually had my very good friend standing on stage next to me holding picks for me because I kept dropping them. But I couldn't quite hold it. I
dexterity.
couldn't quite get it
Yeah.
together to hold the pick, so I kept dropping them. But I did it. I made it through that song, and it was the best feeling I've ever had. It was great.
So the recovery's good. Now take us to the next incident.
Well, 5.5 years after that, I was driving home one day and I saw this bright flash of light and got pretty confused, and it turns out that I'd had a stroke, which is a really strange thing to say, and that look on your face just now is the look that I get from everybody when I tell them, and they're just in disbelief because I'm pretty young to have had something like that happen. I teach music lessons. I taught band camp that day and was driving one of my students home from lunch, and all of a sudden I couldn't really figure out how to drive anymore. So it turns out I'd had a stroke, which is pretty crazy to say out loud. It still gets me sometimes.
So, I mean, at that point, you just you kind of paralyzed or feel weird, you pull over, like what do you do at that point?
I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have any of the classic signs that you look for, like a facial droop or numbness or anything. So I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I get these weird migraines where I kind of lose my vision sometimes, and my doctor says that's perfectly normal, but I thought this was another one of those.
Oh, yeah, bright.
Yeah, I just couldn't see very well until I got home, and it didn't get better. And I started saying the most random off-the-wall thoughts because my brain was kind of mixed up from my memories trying to sort themselves out. So I ended up going to the emergency room, and they thought I was on drugs, and they sent me home. And the next day I went to see my doctor, and he knew what was going on, so I spent some time in the hospital.
Your GP, like, that knows you. And
yeah, he could tell.
Looks for better signs than just, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
he could tell for sure, but they did tests on me and couldn't find a cause. I was a perfectly healthy 25-year-old, and they couldn't find a cause of anything. They eventually found a few little problems, so we're kind of tweaking here and there.
Nice. Well, I'm glad that they, your GP figured that out
Yeah.
and got you back on track. Let's do a few songs here. I'm going to get out of the way. What you have, 3 songs lined up for?
Sure.
What do you tell me a little bit about them?
The first song I'm going to play is the title track from my first album. It's called This One's For You. It's an album I released actually just a couple of months before that first car accident I was in. So that album kind of didn't do what I wanted it to do because I was recovering, but I still love the songs. I like to come back and revisit them from time to time. And then I'll play some newer songs after that.
Nice. I'm going to get out of the way. Arielle Nicole.
The sun is rising this morning, and there's something I need to do. And I've never been the kind for goodbye, but this one's for you. I got a handle on the pain. This time around I can't play your games. You've gone a little bit overboard, and I keep coming back for more. And I've never been the kind for closing doors, but this one's for you. You're everywhere, and everything you're in, everybody, and I can't get away. So I'm gonna take a while, and I'm gonna take a drive, see if I can do better than barely getting by. And I've never been the kind to run, but this one's for you. This one's for you. So this is the last thing that I have for you. I have nothing left to give and nothing to lose. And I've never been the kind for goodbye. I got a little more self-respect this time. And I've never been the kind for goodbye, but this one's for you. All right. This next song is also off of that first album. This one's called The Lower I Sink. The lower I sink, the harder I fall, the faster I'm running, the sooner you call. The lower I sink, the harder I fall. But here you come calling, like I knew that you would. And just like the last time, when I understood, here I'll go running to the sound of your voice. You have no self-control, and I don't have a choice. The lower I sink, the harder I fall, the faster I'm running, the sooner you call. The lower I sink, the harder I fall. It's not in my nature to be angry for long, but I'm standing by the edge now, letting you treat me wrong. So I guess that I'm shameless, I'm just a fool. Looks like I'm the farthest thing from over you. The lower I sink, the harder I fall. Oh, the lower I sink, the harder I fall. The faster I running, the sooner you call. The lower I sink, the harder I fall. The lower I sink, the harder I fall. So that's kind of a dark song. I'm gonna bring it back to life a little bit. This next song is a newer song. It'll be on the album I'm gonna be going back in the studio pretty soon to record. For some reason, I've always been drawn to the water. Healing water, wash me clean. Return the life you took from me. I need the peace you give to me. So healing water, wash me clean. Tired from the long ride home, body bruised and souls are worn. Dust is covering my feet, so healing water wash me clean. When I pass through you, won't you come to me? Pour your healing down on me. Control, I fall on down like dominoes. The other round will know your name when you cover everything. When I pass through you, won't you come to me? Pour your healing down on me. And your voice comes back again. It's loud like a whisper rushing in. Nothing to do but come on, hold my, close my eyes, and here I go. When I pass through you, won't you come to me? Pour your healing down on me. When I pass through you, won't you come
return the life you took from me. I need the peace you give to me, so healing water, wash me clean. All right. This song's called Falling Up. Hit me like a slow blues sound. Time slips away like it does with no one else. Spin me around again like you'd what I was getting into you. Spin me out of control. I don't know how to slow down long enough to tell the ground from the sky above. And I feel like I'm flying, falling up. Hit me like the second hand hits the 12. And time slips away like it does with no one else. Getting into you. Spin me out of control. I don't know how to slow down long enough to tell the ground from the sky above. And I feel like I'm flying, falling up. Don't know how to slow down long enough to tell the ground from the sky above. And I feel like I'm flying. I feel like I'm flying. I feel like I'm flying, falling up. All right, thanks, y'all.
All right. You know, I forgot to ask you, after your accident, did any of your songwriting change? Did you kind of see things differently? Was there a noticeable difference in songwriting or anything?
Oh yeah, it changed so much. Just a whole different kind of depth, I think.
Yeah.
A different part of myself I could reach.
Right.
It's kind of hard to explain.
Right.
You know, it's just different. Not better or worse, or just new.
Yeah. Also, when you've been writing forever, so let's go back. Oh, by the way, I think let's put up the websites, and we probably have. I just haven't been noticing. We'll put up some website. There you go. You have tons of songs. So when was your first CD? And I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do you, for the new CD, go with some of your favorites and then record them, or did you go with all new stuff at that time?
It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know. They just kind of came together.
Right.
I wrote this. I probably had written 50 songs in between CDs, and there's just some songs just fit together magically.
Yeah.
When things are meant to be, they kind of happen. So I think it just worked out that way.
And what's the name of your first one?
The first one was called "This One's for You."
And what year was that?
2011. It was right before the car accident.
Okay. Now, when you go into the studio with that, of course, all your songs are like little babies. It's hard to pick, your favorite 10 or however. Was it crowd favorite? Was it stuff that personally, meant a lot to you? Because it's got to be hard to pick a few.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. They were songs that told the story I was trying to tell, and they kind of worked together just the way that the message I was trying to get out of my head,
Yeah.
it actually came out the way I meant to, and just worked together. They just kind of fell into place.
Nice. And where did you record that?
At Stormy Cooper's Media's in Houston, actually.
Oh.
I went. It was nice. It's like getting far enough away to invest a good amount of time to only focus on that, but not so far that it's far from everything.
Yeah, close enough to home, but enough to escape and
far
have a
enough
good...
to have a creative channel to go to, basically.
Exactly. And who? Now, we were talking earlier. What's your process for recording? You have everything pretty polished up. Do you try things in the studio?
Well, I like to have as much creative control as I can. So I record everything at my house before we go into the studio. I play all the instruments and kind of get all my ideas out that way.
Right.
And then in the studio, I leave a little room for creativity with
Right.
what solos we play and everything. But I just get the form down at home and then go in the studio and get right to it.
And was this first CD, was that with a band?
It was with a band, and I had a band together for a while after that, and then kept on writing and kept on going. But after the car accident, I ended up kind of discovering that the way that I wanted to reach people and get my sound out there was just me and my guitar.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's easier to book yourself, and
Yeah.
you don't have to ask. Yes, I'm available. I don't have to ask 5 other people.
Yeah, especially in this town where everybody plays with everybody.
Double bands, yeah.
Definitely.
And by the way, that's so true. A lot of people are in. Are you in any other bands, or is it just?
I played in my friends' bands. They'll call
Yeah.
me to come play guitar with them or something for a while. But lately, especially since some recent things I've gone through, I've just kind of play on
Right.
my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have any regular gigs that someone would see you at, or do you kind of, is there a certain bar that you usually frequent?
Yeah, I play quite a bit. I play at a lot of wineries around the hill country, and that's
Ooh.
one of my favorite things to do. Everybody there is having such a good time, so it's great.
I have one that we need to get you in touch with. Southern, what's the name of that winery? The brewery? Pernalis? Anyway.
There's a few great
Yeah.
places, but one
I'm going to do a piece on this place and do it like a beer making process.
Oh, cool. That's
And,
pretty cool.
I think they have bands out there too.
Yeah, a lot of them do, and that's
Yeah.
great. So one is Bell Springs Winery. I play there quite a bit. And they have another little, just kind of a wine bar in Dripping Springs called Sidecar, and I know I'll be back
Sidecar.
quite a bit this summer.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
And all that is on your website if someone
Yes.
wants to see. Yeah, okay.
All that is on my website.
Nice. Okay, so you do that CD. Also, as a songwriter, I'm always curious, do you have the music and then you have lyrics, or do you write something and then I got to put guitar to this? Like, what's your, which comes first?
It kind of happens together. It's hard
Oh, wow.
it's really hard to explain, but I get the words with a melody, and then everything kind of falls in around that. And I mean, every song is different. I have
Right.
some songs where I'll have this really cool guitar part and try to come up with words, but it doesn't feel natural to me. One reason why I've always kind of written on my own instead of doing very much co-writing with other songwriters is it just kind of happens in my head.
Right.
It happens together.
Right.
So I'm fortunate that I have a variety of instruments I can write on. I like to write with the piano and with the guitar. And
Yeah, is this probably your stronger instrument? write with?
It's definitely my stronger instrument to play.
Yeah.
With songwriting, for some reason, I like writing with the piano. I think part of that is because after that car accident, to do some therapy to help heal the muscles in my hand, I began playing piano quite a bit more.
Yeah.
And that was right around the same time I kind of got to a different depth with my songwriting.
Yeah.
So because of that, my hands playing piano and my songwriting brain seem connected right now.
Right. Awesome. Now, let's talk about your second CD.
Okay.
And when was this?
This was in 2014.
14, okay.
The end of 2014.
And what's that one?
It's called Falling Up. The song I just played was the title track.
I don't know what it's called, but I love the style. It's kind of like plucking. I don't know
It's
what.
kind of finger picking, I guess. Yeah.
It's so, yeah, I like that. Very good.
I try to make my guitar sing.
There you go. Very good. So now, how do you pick the songs for this? Was this stuff post-accident, up until that point?
So I had written a whole set of songs right after the accident, and they all kind of fit together once again. And I mean, I'd probably written 50 songs, and there was just this group that kind of fit together. You kind of know, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like when you are. I imagine, I don't know, I don't have kids yet, but if you're naming your child, their name comes to them, right? Well, the songs that fit together on a CD just kind of happen. They
You
work
see
out
their
that
face, and you're like, "That's a Madeline." You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Exactly.
And sometimes you're like, "How did we come up with that?" Like it was just so obvious, and you don't. Yeah, totally. And speaking of marriage and kids,
Oh yeah,
There
I'm
you go.
engaged. That's the new exciting thing going
right, a
on.
little shine going on there.
Yeah.
And we have him out in the audience today.
It's our audience tonight.
There you go. So let's also, the songs on this. You pick your favorite. How many are on this?
11.
11. Okay. Mostly now, if I listen to this, is it obvious with the accident, or would?
I think it's more obvious that I'm settling into myself. There aren't really songs specifically about the accident. Just I'd been through some things. You could tell that I had a different kind of maturity a little bit.
Yeah. And then recording studio. Did you go to the same one? Different?
Same one.
Oh.
Yeah, I just felt really at home there. Like I could really connect with my thoughts and what I wanted to sound like there. And I love the people there. They're great guys.
Yeah. Now, how's the mixing and producing? Is that something you do? Do you kind of let those guys do that?
I co-produce it, but I let them mix it all because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to touch that. I'd be overanalyzing everything like crazy.
Like, just leave it alone.
Yeah. Or you do.
Let's do it one more time.
You would just hear a whole bunch of guitar and like the drums would be super
Layered,
quiet.
yeah.
There'd be just really loud guitar, right?
Yeah. Is there a drum on this? I don't know. There's a lot of guitar. Awesome. Let's also, your nearest thing that you have coming up is at the winery?
The winery at the end of June, I will be at Mozart's Coffee.
Oh, nice. I
And
like that place.
Also in the beginning of June, and I don't remember specifically the days, but
Okay.
I know I have that on the website.
Okay, perfect. And we'll put that up. Again, I'm going to get out of the way, Arielle Nicole, and go ahead and just intro like you've been doing, say the name of the song before you play it. And I'm going to get out of the way. We'll do another 15 minutes.
Excellent.
The song's called New Mexico. I said goodbye to my father. I drove into the sun. Summer I turned 18. I was born to run. Made a life out of living what I had. Oh, but lately I've been burdened by a feeling I hide in the past. And I've everything I have, but I can feel the Rockies want me back. And I can hear the Sandies calling me home, to the sunrise I left behind in New Mexico. Now this hill country sky gives me more than enough room to run, but there's something in that September wind that leads me on. Now everything I've been running from is what I've become. Bound by my father's lies and my own angry tongue. I've been fighting this with everything I have, but I can feel the Rockies want me back. And I can hear the Sandiers calling me home, to the sunrise I left behind in New Mexico. Said goodbye to my father and I drove into the sun. The summer I turned 18, I was born to run. Thanks, y'all. I'm gonna play a brand new song. This song's called There's a Hole. There's a hole in my heart. I can't feel it all the time, but I know it's there. It's small, it's barely big enough to be a hole. There's a light in your eyes. I can't see it all the time, but I know it's there. In the way you look at me tonight, there's a light. It happens sometimes when I think the world is washing over me. Pick me up and moving on me like the way nobody moves me. There's a whole other way to see the light inside when I look around. There's a room in this house. I go in when there's something inside I can't get out. These walls, they've heard it all, they've seen it all like I do in the room. Fixes me when I'm broken, comes and rips my heart wide open. Eases me when I'm afraid and nothing mends me quite this way. There's room for improvement now, but I'm starting to think I got it down. So there's a hole in my heart. I can't feel it all the time, but I know it's there. It's small, it's barely big enough to be a hole. There's a whole other way, a whole other way. There's a whole other way, whole other way to see it now. All right. This song is called The City. Come with me into the city. Come with me and take my hand. Let this feeling last forever. Forever my love stands. Can you hear the bells ring? Can you hear them like I do? If you never hear them singing, then my heart will break for you. Taste the honey on my lips, hear the words I say to you. Forever without you is something I could never do. I won't be here in the morning. I won't be here at your side with a love that's never failing. If you stay with me tonight, taste the honey on my lips, hear the words I say to you. Forever without you is something I could never do. So leave your every hesitation and lose these useless old desires. Fill my heart with things unshaken. Ring the bells that never tire. And taste the honey on my lips. Hear the words I say to you. Forever without you is something I could never do. And taste the honey on my lips. Hear the words I say to you. Forever without you is something I could never do. So come with me into the city. Come with me and take my hand. Let this feeling last forever, forever. My love will stand. Let this feeling last forever, forever. My love will stand. Forever, my love will stand. Thank you. All right, I got one more song for you guys. Here's another song from the latest CD. This one's called Looking for a Reason. I went looking for a reason yesterday. Now I'm looking, I went looking anyway. Looked down the road and I saw who I was before. Am I who I was before? Am I who I was before? I talked to Jack, he's been married for a while now. Said it's time he found himself a bride, settled down. So I said, are you the same man who I knew when you were young and mean and swore you wouldn't change yourself for anything? I thought to myself, I must be different now. I thought to myself, I must be wise. Happens every time. Happens every time. I've been looking for a reason here today. Not sure why I went looking anyway. I looked to the mirror and I saw but a child I did not see in me. And I thought to myself, I must be different now. And I thought to myself, I must be wise. Oh, it happens every time. Happens every time. Happens every time, every time. Every time, every time, every time. So I had to stop myself from looking today. I'm not sure why I went looking anyway. I grabbed my pocket full of thoughts and set them down. I set them down. Set him down, set him down, I set him down, I set him down, set him down, I set him down, I set him down, I set him down. I thought to myself, I must be different now. Oh, I thought to myself, I must be wise. Oh, it happens every time. Happens every time. Happens every time, every time, every time, every time, every time. Happens every time. All right.
Really like that song, The City.
Oh, thanks.
I love it. The playing, the lyrics, all of it. It's very good. One thing I wanted to ask about, you got the other CD, it's a few years old. What are the plans for the new CD?
I'm hoping to go back into the studio later this year. I have this great new set of songs and hope to get them out to people's ears.
There you go.
I'm excited.
Same studio, or are you going to try?
Hopefully the same
Yeah,
studio.
yeah.
I just really feel at home there.
Yeah.
We'll see what ends up happening. But
Nice. And also on your website, they have the other CDs that you have that they can currently listen to and all that.
they're all up there.
And we will put the website up there as well. Let me move this out of the way since we're kind of. All right. Also, when you go into the studio, do you prefer? I know some people love live, and then some people really love studio. Like, do you have a favorite? I know they
I
all
love
are
live.
different.
I'm old
Live.
school. I love live. That's kind of where my heart and soul is at.
Is it the feedback, just the energy?
I think the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just that it's just real.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Now, also, with the you teach,
Yes.
so I want to kind of find out a little bit more about the summer camp that you have, because I think that's awesome.
I do a really fun summer camp every year. I take some of my music students or some new students even and put them together in bands, I guess rock bands and country bands, and just kind of get them communicating together. It's a lot of fun. They're
Yeah.
week-long camps, and we have a performance at the end of the week, and it's a lot of fun. We always kind of try to switch it up. So every couple of songs, I have the kids rotate instruments. So in one song, the drummer will learn how to play bass in the next song. So it's a lot of fun.
They might, they might actually switch what they think they want to do.
Right, that's happened quite a
Yeah.
bit. I'm responsible for a lot of drum sets in homes
Right,
of kids around
right.
the city.
Nice, nice. So they can, in a 1 week's time, they can put a song or a few songs together?
We usually learn 4 or 5 songs in a week, and it's nothing insanely
Right.
advanced, but yeah, they can get through some songs enough to put on a rock show.
And are these originals, or do they do fun covers?
Fun covers.
Okay.
Songs that they've heard. I try to encourage originals, but
Yeah.
that takes quite a bit more experience.
A little bit longer. Now, so that's impressive. And what age group? I think I saw on the website there's a few different kinds.
We do different ages. For the most part, between, I guess, elementary school and high school. I have a band of 6-year-olds signed up for this summer. They're going to be a lot of fun. And then I have a band of incoming high schoolers who've been together for 3 years now, who really are getting pretty
Nice.
good at what they do.
Now, see, the cool thing is, later in life, you can go see them on 6th Street.
Right.
And hey, all right.
That's my hope.
Yeah,
They'll
exactly.
keep me young.
There you go. Perfect. Now, is it easier to teach kids or adults like myself? I've never, I've held a guitar or whatever, but if I've never played, or any, adults like us, are kids more, I don't know. What's easier?
Well, the easiest to teach is somebody who wants to learn. That's
first.
of course. You've got to want to learn. You've got to have heard music and experienced music. But kid hands are much easier to learn because they haven't been doing the same things for decades with their hands, like eating with a fork or holding a cell phone a certain way. And so their hands are ready to be trained and molded. So they're like little sponges. They can soak it up. It's a lot of fun.
And I guess adults might be, they think they know what's going on. They're just unless they're just really, really ready to go.
Yeah, if you're really ready to go. I think the hard part is adults are busy. Life
where's
gets
the
busy,
time?
so nobody has time to invest what it really takes.
No
And it's
one-
not easy. It's not easy to just learn how to speak a new language with a part of your body like
With
your
your
hands.
hands.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to tell me, Jake, go play guitar for an hour. Like if you're a kid, your mom and dad do.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And they make you, but no one's going to make you. And I got a job and
Hey,
all that
you'll
good
make
stuff.
you.
Well, yeah, if you really want to. And then is it probably good for just the average person out there that's thinking about playing an instrument? Is, guitar kind of like what would be the easiest, fastest way to maybe pick up? I know it varies, but just generally.
Whatever you end up loving, I
Yeah.
think that's really where it's at. Is what your interest is where it'll take you. I think piano is the most visual. So if you can learn some musical concepts on the piano, you can translate it to other instruments pretty easily.
I would love to play piano. Gosh, that'd be awesome. Now, are you able to do this as a living? I know a lot of awesome musicians, they have day jobs and stuff like that. Do you kind of do some other stuff, or are you able to
I'm music all the way, but it's between playing and teaching
And the school.
and
Okay, yeah,
recording.
yeah.
Mhm,
So, yeah, it
keeps
is-
me busy full
music
time. It's
is-
music. I couldn't really do anything else. You wouldn't want me to, trust me.
You couldn't be a bank teller?
No, you wouldn't want me to. I'd be the person that everybody's talking about on Twitter. This bank is so slow. Their customer service is horrible. That
Yeah.
would be me. I'll stick with music, I think.
Nice. You know, what's next? When you go into the studio with your new CD, you going to go with the band?
I'm not sure yet. I'm
Yeah.
gonna kind of let the songs transform themselves, and I'm torn between wanting to have my whole band in the studio with me and then wanting to just play just me and my guitar like this, because I feel like I can really connect with people that way.
Yeah. And when you do bring the band, do you typically have the same people, you know, that you know, or do you try new people? Like, how's that?
I try to have the same people
Yeah,
as much as I
if they're
can, people
available.
who've been along my side as my music has evolved over the last 6 or 7 years. When they can be available, of course. Everybody's busy.
And then any music videos?
I
in the
do. I
works?
have some music videos already on YouTube a little bit, but I'm not working on anything now.
Yeah.
But you know, that's a good idea.
Yeah. I always I love the music, but it's also cool to put visuals, you know, to tie it up and wrap it all.
Well, it's funny being a child of the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I basically started experiencing music with video
MTV.
as a kid. So when I write a song, I can really see it and picture a video
Yeah.
or picture what's happening.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And I get I'm you know, because I'm a video guy, I'm a photographer, so when I hear people's songs, I can like almost see the video, you know, I can see,
Right.
oh my God, it'd be great, you know, walking through a field with their hands over the sunflower, whatever it is, you know, I can visualize. So I would imagine even you are even more in tune because it's your song. So anyway, we're going to wrap up. Thank you, Arielle, for
Thank you
coming
for
out.
having me. Thank you very
Thank you for coming out. We're going to go ahead and roll credits. And Arielle Nicole.